I want to ask you something, and I want you to answer it honestly, not in your head, but in your body. Right now, as you're watching this, where is the tension? Is it in your shoulders, the ones that have been sitting somewhere near your ears for so long that you have stopped noticing that they're raised? Is it in your jaw, which you unclench when you think about it, only to find that it's clenched again before the thought is even finished? Is it in your stomach, that low, persistent sense of something being not quite right that you've come to think of as simply, this is how I feel? When did you last wake up rested? Not just slept, but actually rested, restored, refreshed. Like your body has been somewhere safe while you were unconscious and has taken the opportunity to repair itself. If you have trouble remembering, I want you to know that that is not age. That is not your diet or your fitness level or your spiritual condition. That is what chronic hypervigilance does to the human body. And chronic hypervigilance is exactly what living with a narcissistic husband produces, day after day, year after year, in a woman whose nervous system has learned that she is never quite safe in her own home. Today, I want to connect the dots between what's happening in your marriage and what is happening in your body, because your body's been keeping the score of every hard year. And it's time that someone told you what the numbers say. Before we go into this, subscribe to this channel if this is new to you, and if you want to be part of a community of women who are navigating exactly this, the Detox Your Marriage community link is down below, as is a link to book a consultation call with me directly. Okay, let's get into it. Here's what's happening in your body that nobody has explained to you. Your nervous system has one primary job, just to keep you alive. And to do that job, it's constantly scanning your environment for threat. Not consciously, right? It's not in your mind, not deliberately, but automatically beneath the level of thought at a speed and comprehensiveness that your conscious mind could never achieve. And so in a safe environment, this scanning is quiet. It's background noise. Your nervous system checks, finds nothing alarming, and returns to a state of relative ease. And so your muscles stay loose, your digestion functions, and your sleep is restorative. Your immune system does its maintenance work. All those things. Your body's operating the way it was designed to operate 99% of the time. But in an unsafe environment, and I want to say this clearly, you're home with a man whose moods are unpredictable and whose behavior is a chronic source of harm. That's an unsafe environment. This scanning that your nervous system does never quits. Your nervous system does not clock out when you get home. It can't afford it. Your nervous system actually escalates because home is where the threat lives. And so it keeps you braced. Shoulders up, jaw tight, gut clenched, and sleep shallow. Always, always, always a little bit ready for what might come next. That state has a name. It's called chronic hypervigilance, and your body was not designed to live in it indefinitely. Your body was designed to go there 1% of the time, and then go back to rest and restore. Let me be specific, because this is not a metaphor, this is body physiology. When your nervous system is in a sustained state of alert, it keeps your body flooded with stress hormones, cortisol and adrenaline primarily, but there's more in the sequence. And these are designed for short-term emergency response, right? Sprint away from danger, fight off the threat, and then return to baseline. But when the danger is not a sprint away kind of thing, when it is the person you sleep next to, the man you married, the presence that fills your home, there's nowhere to sprint to. And so the hormones stay. The sustained exposure to those hormones does specific, documented things. It disrupts your sleep. Not just makes it lighter, but actively interferes with the deep restorative stages of sleep that your brain requires to process and digest emotion, consolidate memory, and repair tissue. It suppresses your immune function. Women in chronically stressful relationships get sick more often, recover more slowly, and are significantly more vulnerable to autoimmune conditions, where the body, unable to find the external threat, begins to attack itself. Chronic hypervigilance affects your cognition. The fog, the forgetting, the difficulty concentrating that you might have attributed to age or distraction or a spiritual dryness or something. Nope. This is a cortisol-saturated brain trying to function while running a permanent threat assessment in the background. The chronic hypervigilance holds itself in your muscles. The tension that lives in your neck and shoulders and jaw and lower back that no amount of stretching or yoga quite resolves. Because the tension is not muscular in origin, it's neurological. Your muscles are braced because your nervous system has not given them permission to release and let go. So your body is not failing you. Your body is protecting you in the only way it knows how, but it's paying an enormous price to do it. I want to address something that many women in this situation have been told at some point by a well-meaning friend, a doctor, perhaps even a therapist. They say, just try to relax. Practice self-care. Take a bath. Do some deep breathing. And she tried. She does the breathing. She does the bath. She does the yoga class. And for the hour that she's there, something releases. And then she goes home. And within 20 minutes of walking through the front door, the shoulders are back up, the jaw is clenched, and the stomach has contracted, and the bath might as well have not even happened. This is not a self-discipline problem. It is the nervous system doing exactly what it's supposed to do, responding to the environment it's actually in. So you cannot outbreathe a threatening environment, and you cannot yoga your way out of chronic hypervigilance when the source of the hypervigilance is sitting across the table. The relaxation response requires safety. And safety in this context is not a practice that you can perform. It's a condition that either exists or it doesn't exist, which means that the path to a body that is no longer in a state of chronic alert is not a better self-care routine. It's a fundamental change in your internal relationship with the dynamic that you're living inside. A shift in how your nervous system reads the environment, not just how you manage your response to it. That shift is possible. It's the core of the work that we do, and it requires something more than taking a bath, even a bubble bath. Trauma is not something you remember. It's something your nervous system learns. If you ever thought, I understand my trauma intellectually, but my body still does not feel safe, this book is written for you. In the Trauma Recovery Blueprint, I introduce the Relational Nervous System Integration Model. It's an integrative framework that bridges polyvagal theory, internal family systems, and EMDR-informed trauma healing. It helps explain how trauma reshapes the body, emotional patterns, relational expectations, and the nervous system itself. This is not simply a book about coping. This is a whole new framework for understanding healing. The Trauma Recovery Blueprint is out now on Amazon. Click the link below for more information. Stay with me, because I want to tell you what the beginning of nervous system recovery looks like for a woman who's staying in her marriage. Not the theory, what it actually physically feels like. So stay with me. I'm going to unpack the RSVP protocol reclaim your life, your voice, and yourself without leaving your marriage. The first sign is usually in the breath. Not a dramatic opening, necessarily. A moment. Just a moment in which she breathes out and the exhale is slightly longer than usual. Slightly more complete. And she notices that she's been breathing shallowly for so long that a full exhale feels briefly like, that was something. The second sign is often in the shoulders. A moment in the conversation, not necessarily an easy conversation, when the shoulders don't immediately rise. When she says something and she waits for the response and her body does not brace the way it used to. Not because the response was different, but because something in her held differently. The third sign is sleep. Not immediately deep, but the shallow, vigilant, always half awake sleep that has been her norm for years begins to shift. She has a night where she goes under more fully than usual, and she notices it in the morning because it feels different. Because she had forgotten what it felt like to be even a little bit restored. Here's the thing, these are not large movements. They're small signals that the nervous system is beginning to understand, not just intellectually, but physically, cellularly, that something has changed. Some new programming is being downloaded. That there is inside this woman a place that is becoming safe, regardless of what is happening around her. That place is what the RSVP protocol builds. It's not an escape from the marriage, it's a refuge inside herself, and a body that slowly begins to believe it's real. Now, I want to close by saying something I believe with the full weight of 30 years of clinical work. Your exhaustion is not weakness, and your tension is not a character flaw. Your inability to relax is not a failure of faith or discipline or self-care. It's the cost of living in an environment that your nervous system correctly identifies as unsafe. It's a cost that is currently being charged to your body at a rate that your body was never designed to sustain. You deserve to live in a body that is not braced, not vigilant, not spending its nights in shallow half sleep and its days in the low hum of waiting for what comes next. That body, yours, but at rest, it's not a distant possibility. It is available to you. Not through a better evening routine with more bubble baths, not a different supplement, but through the interior work of becoming, from the inside out, a woman whose sense of safety no longer depends entirely on the atmosphere he creates. That's what I've built. The RSVP protocol, reclaim your life, your voice, and yourself without leaving your marriage. This is it. Your body's part of what gets reclaimed, and for many women, it is the most tangible and most moving part of the journey. The moment she realizes the shoulders have been down all week. The morning they wake up and feel refreshed. The RSVP protocol is available right now on Amazon. And if you're ready, there's a link in the description to book a consultation call with me. Totally free, no strings attached. Just a brief call to figure out what's going on uniquely in your situation and what would need to be done to turn it around. Let's face it, your body's been keeping score long enough. It's time to start writing a different story.